Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. Have you ever wondered what you could make a container out of, a plant pot or a container out of? The other day, my wife Deb had one of these and it was running out. And she had the idea of me turning one into a pot. Now the cool thing about this is it's kind of divided in the center. So if you had two different varieties of something and wanted to kind of keep them separated, it'd be easy to do because it's got that split right down the center. So you have like a dual planting area to work with. All you have to do is when the candle gets down, all the way down in there, is clean the wax out. And the easiest way to do that is to heat the wax, make sure it starts to liquefy down in there, and then wipe it out with paper towels and soak it up real good. And then it can be scrubbed out with soap and water. Now here's what I mean. Now this is the one I've transformed already. See, it's got a hole for each side. And it's ready to be planted. And we're going to do that here in just a second. I have some euphorbia hybrids that I've put together. And I believe I'm going to put them in here to kind of keep them separated. They both have the same father but different mothers. So it's two different varieties of hybrids. And I'm going to pot them up in here, and it'll be easy to keep each three, and there's three of each, separated and kind of keep them in their own little area. But at the same time, being together. Now, before I do that, I want to show you this. This container was brought to me by my wife's sister, Ms. Jennifer Weiss of Richland, Missouri. And she likes to go around to flea markets and such and take a look at what's there and what's cool to pick up. And she found this and thought of me. Now, can you guess what this is? Well, of course, this is a euphorbia. It's a euphorbia enormous. And this little stoneware container, if you take a look at it, you'd almost have to turn it upside down to know what it was. Now, the bottom here is actually the top, believe it or not. And it's about, say, that deep inside, and then it's flat on that top. And basically what it is a candle pedestal, and made to set the candle directly on top or holder. And then the bottom inside was hollow. Now when I got a hold of this, she gave this to me, it appeared that somebody was using it upside down anyway because it actually had wax on the inside here, and there's no hole or opening from the top. Well, until now. Now I've put a hole and drilled it up through the bottom here. Excuse me. Drilled it up to the bottom so this euphorbia will have plenty of drainage. Got about a 1-inch hole drilled to the bottom, and it made a great stoneware container. This flare on it was kind of neat and unusual, so I had to put a plant in it that flared out, and we kind of fit the top bill there, so to speak. It turned out really cool. And that's just an example of some of the different things you can sometimes come up with and use as pots. As far as ceramic containers and stoneware containers, I find stuff all the time that make good pots, but they're just not made for it until you drill a hole somewhere in them to allow them to drain the excess water, of course. Okay, I'm going to get my little euphorbias ready here. I got some of these seedlings and pull them out, and then we're going to do a repotting on these little euphorbias in this candle dish. Okay, we're ready to get this potted up. And I have three different hybrids for each side. Now the three on this side are Euphorbia seriformis, hybridized with a Euphorbia polygonus snowflake. They really have a very cool look to them. This one's more green. It doesn't have the white that the snowflake had. And each one of the little hybrid seedlings, even though they came from the same batch of seeds, are different. And this one has a real deep green color to it. And I like all the little sterile peduncles that it puts out. So it's going to have plenty of little thorns all over it. But very cool. I haven't heard of this kind of hybrid being made, but who knows, somebody may have it out there. This is another one. Same hybrid, but you can see some of the white is evident on this plant. If you take a look. And it also has the little sterile peduncles coming out to make its thorns. Very cool. It seems to be the one that's offset the most and grown the biggest offset. And then I have a small one here, small one of the bunch. It has no peduncles on it, but does have some of the white of the snowflake coming through on it, so that's kind of nice. These other three are Euphorbia horrida crossed with, or actually a Euphorbia horrida striata crossed with a polygonal snowflake. This one's kind of nice, has kind of that ghostly white to it. Thinner than the snowflake, of course, but real cool. You can kind of see the green underneath it. Really nice. This one has a little bit of the white to it, not a lot. A little greener. A few offsets, but growing good. And this one's another white one. It seems to have more patterning across the ribs, more striping. Almost like the striata does. So that's pretty cool too. Okay, we'll get these potted up now. You put a piece of screen in the bottom of the container on each side. I have some soil here to use. A little more. I think I'll go to the right with a little Seriformis hybrids here. I thought that the Seriformis and the Polygona would make an interesting hybrid. They're turning out real nice. These are only about a year old, so they're growing pretty quickly. In here, so we got a root sticking up there. Okay. A little space for the little guy right here on the end. And this one, don't want to get them mixed up. Nice and filled in. And I'll put some top dressing on it after I get the other side done. Always like to put some top dressing on there so it doesn't mess up the soil as you water it and so forth, and perlite going everywhere. I wish I could use pumice, but we just don't have it available here like in a lot of places. So we're kind of left at the mercy of perlite. Okay. Situated. Alright, now for the other side. This is going to work out just real nice here. Put this one on the end. Put the branch one in the middle like I did on the other hybrid there. They're bleeding a little bit, so I'll have to wash my hands real good when I get done here. Remember, when you're handling euphorbias, always wash your hands, because that sap is toxic and can burn you in your eyes and all kinds of other neat little places. The mosquitoes are kind of after me tonight. Got that worked out just about right there. Okay, I'm going to put a little top dressing on this. I like to use this lava rock for my top dressing on most stuff. I'd say I'd give this another year before I'll have to move them again. They'll get pretty big in that time. I've had these growing inside the whole time. They've been growing under lights, so I haven't experienced true sunshine yet. That may be next year. Pretty soon we'll have to be bringing everybody back inside the greenhouse that's outside as our fall is approaching. A few places to fill in here. Try not to break off this little tiny offset that it has here. This Seriformis hybrid that's in the middle has a little bit offset that's giving me a little bit of problems here. Gently fill in around it. Hopefully it isn't injured too bad. It's bleeding a little bit. Mosquitoes are still after me. Okay. And that one I believe is done. Maybe a little pinch of fine crushed rock in there. Fill in that space. Okay. That's looking pretty good. And I'll show you close up again here in a minute. But we're going to do something else. I've got another one here to plant that I want to plant and get done. And I believe I'm going to have to get some more soil. So I'll do that in just a second and get some more soil. Okay, and we're back. And yes, this is the little Mammillaria elongata monstrose from last week. It's finally dried out enough to where I think I can repot it. Just scoot the little euphorbias over. And the soil in this one is a peat soil, I'm pretty sure. They also had it watered so wet that it just would not dry out for a long time. It took days and days for this to dry out. So I'm going to change the soil and get into a better soil that's a little better draining and doesn't have so many problems like the soil that it's in. Okay, now this is the pot I'm going to put it in. And you saw it setting in it before and tonight. And I think it's a really cool pot. Yes, there is a hole in it. This is a pot. And I make these out of these little stoneware mugs all the time. I really like them. And I think this plant will look great in it. I'm going to put my screen in there. I'll move this aside. I'm going to grab one little scoop of dirt here to put in the bottom. And then we'll go about getting some of this soil off of here. Yeah, it's a peat soil, and really there's just not enough drainage in it. Got a couple pieces that are going to fall off. I'll just kind of set them together with it. I think this is actually 3 clumps put together. Maybe a few more of those little pieces falling off. I'll just have to kind of set them back. Yeah, this is 3 clumps, as you can see. I'll just go ahead and pop them apart. Get some of this soil off of there. Dropping a few more offsets, but these offsets are actually rooted. Some of them have little roots on them already, so they're kind of on their way. A little more soil there. Mosquitoes at it again. I'm going to set them in there like that. My soil is going to have quite a bit more drainage in it. I've got a real load of perlite in there, and little pot shards, stuff like that. I'll take those broken pots. When I use the master key on them and break them up real fine, I'll put them in my soil mixes too. I think I'm about to get some company here. Hello there, Big O. How you doing, buddy? It's Big O the video cat. Gotta have the video cat for our videos. Now these little pieces, I'll just kind of set them in here. If I blow some of the soil off, and they'll root up right away. I have no doubt of that. Mammillaria elongata, that's one good thing about it. They do root very easily. A little bit of soil on it. I noticed something about this cactus too. You don't want to handle it too roughly because the spines will kind of rub off. Okay, Big O, we gotta have some space here, buddy. There you go. Whoops, don't fall. There you go, kitty. It's a good kitty. Big O likes to be in the middle of everything. If he could actually be up here planting this with me, I think he would. Okay, I think I got my last piece here. And then we can start filling in with some lava rock. Some of this lava rock worked in around it. Look real nice. All right. Getting close here now. Almost got it filled in. I can get a rock back in there between all those little pieces. You gotta kind of watch it. I've rubbed a couple of spines off. I'll show you that. I'm gonna give you a look at this, but I have rubbed some of the spines off a little bit. So it's real tender on the spines. Okay. Well, I think we've got this. All I gotta do is clean up and give you a good look at all these. Turned out pretty cool. Okay, and here we are. There they all are. All the new containers potted up. Not one of them was meant to be a plant pot. And you got your candle pedestal upside down here. Your candle dish. And the little coffee pot. Or a coffee mug, as it were, complete with a little spoon. Just love these little stoneware household containers. They're awesome. There's a little bleeding there. That's not too bad. Little Seriformis polygona hybrids here. My Horta varstriata with the polygona snowflake here. Worked out real well. Separated them up. Gives them plenty of room, at least for a good year or more. And then we'll put something else divided up in there. I may have new hybrids later on put in there. Keep them separated up. And Euphorbia enormous in its pedestal. Anyhow, I'm glad you could join me tonight. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. Y'all have a good day. Take care.
Get Kitty Henny in there.
Hi, Annie. We gotta say hi to our pets before we go. Hey, Big O. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. Have a great evening. Take care.